Look, every year when the Booker Prize dropped its Longlist, bookish internet splits into half. We get the high-minded literary establishment applauding themselves, and then we get regular passionate readers sitting there staring at a list of 13 and thinking, who on earth chose those and why? A couple days ago, the 2026 Booker Prize Longlist was officially announced. 13 books. And as I scrolled down the list, my heart sunk a little. Because what should have been a celebration of the finest, most captivating long-form fictions of the year felt bizarrely out of touch. When you look at what actually made the cut, a 140-page surrealist fable, an oblique sci-fi about an alien invasion, a man lives inside a literal black bag, and then you look at what's actually missing, it feels like we are living in two completely different reading universes. Where is Yesteryear? Where is Maggie O'Farrell's Land? Where is Calamity Club? If you saw this list today and felt disappointed, alienated, or just plain confused, I want to tell you something right up front. You are not alone. This isn't just a matter of different tastes. What we are looking today isn't an accident. It's the direct result of a fundamental structure flaw that built straight into the DNA of the Booker Prize itself. Welcome back to the cafe, guys. Grab a cup of drink, sit back, and let's dismantle the logic of 2026 Booker Longlist and expose the fatal flaw that is quietly ruining literary awards. Let's get started with the official justification. Meyerbeer, the brilliant classist and chair of this year's judging panel, give a statement alongside the announcement. And I want to read you exactly what she said, because when you analyze their own words, the cracks start to show immediately. She writes, and I quote, "Great books have never been written to a single formula. We are confident that our long list of books has something for everyone. There's the funny and unsettling, dystopia fantasy and domestic drama, the gritty and the magically mysterious. Something for everyone." It sounds lovely, isn't it? Democratic, inclusive. Except what they actually mean is something for everyone with a literary PhD. Notice the subtle bait and switch. The panel claims to represent all genres. They point to a fresh take of dystopia sci-fi or a gothic compass novel. But notice what is completely absent. Mainstream speculative fiction with actual plot propulsion. Immersive historical epics that hold you spellbound for 400 pages. Rich, accessible, narrative-driven fiction that real people actually read, buy, recommending, and staying up at 2 a.m. to read. Instead, look at how the judges describe their own choices in the text. I'm John Harrison's The End of Everything is described as shimmering and oblique. McKenna Gutman's Helen of Nowhere is called philosophically adventurous. Missouri Williams' The Vivisector is praised as genuinely experimental. When an elite judging panel calls a novel oblique or philosophically adventurous, that is almost always the code for nothing happens. But the sentence structure is intellectually pretentious. Why has the literary establishment decided that a 140-page surrealist vignette where a professor disappears into the wood is inherently better art than a deeply developed, emotionally resonant 400-page narrative? Why is plot always treated like a cheap trick, while obscurity is rewarded like a virtue? And it gets worse when you look at who they actually selected. For a list that boasts about discovering fresh new voices, they comfortably fall back on past winners like Douglas Stewart and Marlon James, alongside mega-established critic darlings like Elizabeth Stout and Emma Cline. It's a closed-door prestige loop. They hand out nominations to safe bet alumni, fill the rest of the list with hyper-niche academic experiments, and completely ignored the masterpieces of this year. Now let's address the elephant in the room. What do Yesteryear, Land, and Calamity have in common? Beside being three of the most widely acclaimed, narrative-driven, deeply satisfying novel of 2026. The answer is length. Let's look at the numbers. Yesteryear, 400 pages. Maggie O'Farrell's Land, 448 pages. The Calamity Club, a massive 656 pages. Every single one of those snubbed masterpieces require a real time investment. They require space. They require you sit down and sink into a fully built world. Now let's look at the 2026 long list. Nearly half of the 13 longlisted books, 6 of them to be exact, are under 250 pages long. McKenna Guzman's Helen of Nowhere isn't even a full novel by the traditional standard. It's a tiny 140 pages. Is it a coincidence that the judges passed over 450-page powerhouses in favor of 140 pages novellas? No, it's math. Let's break down the hidden mathematics of how Booker Prize actually works. But here is a multiple choice question for you. What do you think? How many books do each of these judges have to read in order to come up with a long list? You got A, B, C, and D. Pause the video right now, or vote in YouTube quiz on the screen, or drop your guesses directly in the comment section down below. And let's see if you are right. If you choose C, congratulations, you got it right. This year, 5 judges were tasked with reading 163 books between the submission deadline and the announcement of the long list. That's roughly 7 months of judging. Let's do the basic math. 163 books divided by 210 days equals a new novel every 30 hours. Think about that for a second. Every single day and a half for 7 straight months, these 5 human beings had to finish a book, take notes, evaluate it, and move on to the next one. Day and a half. 1 book every single day and a half. That isn't reading, that's industrial speed skimming. And when you force human beings into that level of extreme reader fatigue, something toxic happens to the evaluation process. When you are 80 books deep, exhausted, behind schedule, and reading your 3rd novel of the weekend, a sweeping, complex, 500-page epic like The Calamity Club or Land doesn't feel like a rich literary experience. It feels like a war. It feels like work. Conversely, when a thin 140-page experimental novella lands on the judge's desk, it feels like a breath of fresh air. They can breeze it through in a couple hours, click it off their lists, and feel like a sense of accomplishment. The system itself creates a massive psychological bias towards brevity and high-concept gimmicks. A book about a guy living inside a black bag, or a magical prison portal in a bathroom stand out instantly when you are skimming at 100 miles an hour. But a slow burn, character-driven masterpiece that requires emotional patience? What happened to that book? It gets slaughtered by the deadline. The Booker Prize isn't selecting the best fiction of the year. It's selecting the book that were easiest for the 5 exhausted judges to finish before their panel meetings. And look, if you think this is just one-off issue with the 2026 panel, think again. This is the recurring sickness within the prize. Cast your mind back to the recent Booker history. Remember when Samantha Harvey's Orbital won? Now, I know some people really enjoyed Orbital. It has lovely lyrical prose about astronauts looking down at Earth. But let's be honest with ourselves. Orbital is barely 130 pages long. It has virtually no plot, no central character conflict, and reads more like an extended prose poem or a glorified atmosphere vignette than a fully realized novel. When Orbital went, it sends a clear message to the publishing industry. You don't need to craft compelling, structured, multi-dimensional story anymore. If you write 130 pages of quiet, poetic observations that 5 tired judges can read over a cup of tea on a Sunday afternoon, you can walk away with one of the most prestigious awards in English literature. We are watching the Booker Prize steadily redefine great long-form fiction as short, non-threatening prose exercise. And what happens when a panel does try to reach a consensus under fatigue? They fall into the unanimity trap. When a judge pitches a massive, ambitious 600-page novel to the panel, it inevitably sparks debate. Big novels take big swings, which means one judge might love it, another might hate it. But when someone picks a tight 160 pages, highly polished, unobtrusive novella, nobody hates it. It's short, it's clever, it doesn't take enough risks to cause an argument. So the panel takes the path of the least resistance. The ambitious masterpiece gets cut. The inoffensive, bite-sized novella walked onto the long list. Now I know some of you will notice the past heavyweight like Hilary Mantel's Wolf Hall, or Bring Up the Bodies, or Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children, or Anarati's The God of Small Things. These are all very large books, but look at the date, look when they actually won the prize. Every single one of those iconic sprawling masterpieces won before 2014. Now the reason 2014 matters is because prior to that, eligible books are limited to UK, Ireland and Commonwealth publications. From 2014, all novels published in English are eligible. Overnight, submission numbers exploded to well over 160 books. The workload for the 5 judges doubled, but the deadline hasn't moved a single day. Post-2014, the Booker stopped consistently crowning sweeping 500-page epics and started to hand out trophies to 130-page prose exercises like Orbital. The 2014 rule change broke the reading pace, and we have been watching tired judges default to shorter, bite-sized novellas ever since. So where does that leave us as readers? We can either keep letting the elite award panels telling us what important literature is supposed to look like, or we can reclaim the narrative ourselves. If you were looking at 2026 Booker Longlist today and feeling completely unimpressed, uninspired, I want to propose an alternative. Over the next few weeks on Harry's Book Cafe, we are going to build our own list, the alternative 2026 long list. We are going to highlight the books that actually move us this year, the books with sweeping, world-building, breathtaking character arcs and narrative courage. We are going to give Yesteryear, Land, the Calamity Club the deep, thoughtful, unhurried analysis they actually deserve from the Booker panel. Because real literature isn't measured by how fast 5 judges can skim it in a hotel room. It's measured by how long it stays with you after you turn the final page. I want to hear from you down in the comment section today. Which book were you most shocked to see left off the 2026 Booker Long list? Are you as tired as I am of seeing 140-page novellas dominate long-form fiction awards? Or do you think I'm too hard on the judges? Let's turn the comment section into a real discussion. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the cafe for more honest, unvarnished book commentaries. And I'll see you in the next review. Until then, read what you love, not just what a panel tells you. Take care guys, see you in the next one. Cheerio.